heaven, turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here spit shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the stand and tell. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the most high. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pie. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I see a man reach out to God before he died. Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for left. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember John'll try to stick me for that cheese on that bread. Yeah, I was thuggin' with Lucky, that nigga left me for dead. Endure to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. Shit, I don't really speak, cause shit never understand. That's why I ain't even tell about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sister, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga, training, put through the baddest conditions. I fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, niggas, she know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit till I go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' a different breed of black men. We don't do the bad thing. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, forget about my face. We stacking up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can can take that to the bank, we focus. Ooh, how many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some break off, but never take off as a flex. When the law with your ain't no up next, it's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world, I responded and called back. Oh Lord, and everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the command and general, YAHNNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like who they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't butt the system. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in the with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' script them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Rapping it, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I send with the gun with the slide. For real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die for kill. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet about me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the command and general, YAHNNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. Oh. I will wait.
Dirty Bird.
Buck roll.
Wait on.
Not no more. It's shocking.
I will wait.
Yeah. I've been feeling how I'm feeling like. Fuck how niggas feeling, I've been waiting my turn. Walking through the pits of hell, still feeling the burn. At 3 in the morning when I'm tossing the turn. Shorty gripping me tight, tell me it'll be alright. I'm gripping the pistol, having visions of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of death. I'm in the alley with the scully on tilt. I'm ready to pull his homie, conflicted in heart. Spent too much time in the midst of the dark. I'm itching in this truth just to play my part. On a Saturday in the depths of the dark, where the zombies walk. Times Square, let the scriptures bark, and the generals talk. Fishing for that young man or the princess he called before the reapers involved. Show your chariots, Lord, dead in the middle of their war. Let your trumpets blow, revelation reveal. Let the sky crack wide, show the color of Christ. Let me watch the descent before I enter my chamber. Allow me to enter the chamber, see the truth is amazing. Hoping, wishing, and praying. I earn my place in the kingdom, plant my feet on the pavement. Put my brick in them chasing for the crown of this promise. For that crown of this promise.
Right, sure
144.
Sure is. We wait for instructions and orders in these truths, man. Wise man once told me seek counsel. Never rely on your own understanding. It's not. It's UPK, the heart different. Black on black boots ain't forces to walk different. Muscle energy, the 1,000 to spark different. And learned about the scriptures from generals taught different. Game bred pit with grip, the bark different. Priests and officers, we captains to talk different. Proper side of the wind, and I endure to the end. Strap these niggas rock Christ, and ain't nothing to him, but check it. In your city, we them niggas on the corner. And all black changed men that put away the former. We militant, disciplined as niggas that's in order. We shield swinging off our neck and fringes on the borders. Born rugged in these streets, learned the codes and the politics. And I ain't wait for the Lord, he got me out of it. Hood nigga, hard knock alumni with scholarship. Big Glock was up on my hip, up in them colleges. And you ain't saved if you a Christian and you waiting on it. Heaven not by observation, go and take that moment. Cause your faith is in your work while you debating on it. I'm enduring to the end, this Glock ain't got no safety on it.
Sure don't. Can't wait till the Most High come and open these skies up and let YAHWH come down here and bomb these motherfuckers. Bomb on all these heathens. Their time is up.
I can't wait, though I feel conflicted. Mind shifted to the point I gotta check my spirit. Eyes lifted to the hills like a Howard there. So potent, so strong, just feel it in the air. If we don't hearken, as poor judgment would disappear. He's all seeing, all knowing, you don't want to visit. Whether short wave or long range, his aim is vivid. We can't run, can't hide, he'll come and get us. There's no test, no rest in this war business. I'm on the corner with my brothers and my garment on. Mic in my hand, chanting white man's the devil song. Provoking spirit in my people to get our gather on. Shots fired at hellfire, we get our Bible on. Wanna eat, find the menu in Leviticus. Learn to walk, talk scriptures here, this is how to fish. Hit the ground running hard, we staying on our job cause Babylon is falling. Like the song that we made for y'all. We live and die for this shit. There's no plan B. We the Lord's sheep. The Lord's chosen would never flee. If it's not for the Most High, we would never be.
Never be. Stand the fuck up. Or sit the fuck down. Either you winning or you losing. Either you winning or somebody telling the truth and somebody telling a lie. Who telling a lie? Wake the fuck up. Keep it moving, keep it pushing. Know better, do better. Dirty bird. You heard?
Yeah. Cold shit. I ain't come with goons, but I'm well connected. Walk in the room is pop, 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 like you got rejected. Let me see if you qualify or not. Spinning up in a tinted truck, riding around your block. Busy man. I get a word, he ain't shit from top to bottom like a motherfucking ceiling fan. Hopping out the rental van, on my way to LAX. Brothers out in Cali and they killers out of every set. But I ain't tripping on no blood. One West, all my niggas got it out the mud. Put your face on a t-shirt, memory of niggas acting tough in them songs, that's the drugs. I don't need no cases, all my pistols clean. So now I weigh my options, used to use the triple beam. Used to get the wop, mix it with the nicotine. Now I travel state to state and put on for my team.
The fuck wrong with them? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get them. I see niggas and they feelings, I don't feel them. Kick the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with it. At the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. Cut the grass for the snake, fuck the gossip. Front line with them soldiers, that's my posture. Gun drawn, trying to curse the imposter. Shit get out the pocket, go to war with everybody, yeah. Send that hate, make it to the featherweight. Niggas say they hard, but they sweeter than a dedication. Hold on, think it's time to introduce. I'm a man and a beast and a stepper and a ruler. Hold on, and a G and a soldier and a mover. Hold on, and a killer and a prophet and a shooter, nigga. Trying to stay humble, my shit crazy. Cold leader, need the blue stripes, no brick baby. Can't be serious, you a funny boy, young fly. Look wrong, must be a dummy, I ain't gun shy. Fuck that little bitch, she a hook. Nigga swear he the go, bring him to the bush. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. Niggas in their feelings, I don't feel them. Kid the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with it. Be at the end, gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay patient. You one of them? What's the problem? I'm one West, go to war with everybody. I'm from Philly, you get hot, you catch a cold case. I'm one West, these brothers trying to set my soul straight. They done turned me to a prophet from a demon, and I'm locked in this shit and I ain't leaving.
Now ski mask transform the war mode like I'm Voltron. Stab on my head and my chest from the most high. Put something tight around your neck like a bow tie. Got my niggas waiting charged up like they phone died.
Red letter, drip clean, it looks so fly. Claim he riding, that's why I left his ass roadside. He gon' die. Skyscraper to a nosedive. 9mm plus B for the 4-5. The fuck wrong with him? Ain't on my level, I should let my dog get him. I see niggas and they feelings all feelin'. Kick the Glocky with me, it was like a ball with him. Be at the end, I gotta stay patient. They hate me, Lord, I gotta stay dangerous. You one of them? Yeah. What's the problem? I'm one west, go to war with everybody.
Shalom, Israel. Lock you one moment. There we go. Shalom, Israel. For the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street, under Commanding General YAHNNA. And since 1969, we have been delivering the truth that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the chosen people of the Bible per the Bible. I'm Precinct Officer of 500 Kashakawa, holding down the law class. And we got a lot to go over. To the Akim, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakatah. To the Akwafim, Shalom, Yahweh Shema Atham Bashim Yahweh Shah. One moment. 1001 things doing. Okay. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Like, share, comment, of course. Like, share, and comment on the class. Please put your comments in the chat. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We have a few things to go over. I have a few videos that I would like to share. It being a law class, I have a few videos that I would like to share. First, let's start off, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in the United States, a lawless place. We see so much going on in the earth. And it's very sad of the things that's going on in the earth. Salakia. We see a lot of things going on in the earth, from the Jay-Z, the Diddy, all these crazy cases. You see ICE running down on the so-called Hispanics and arresting them for no reason. Some of them they saying they need to deport them, and some they saying that they don't care if they have papers. And now they have put something else out. The president of the United States then said, you know what, I'm going to sign something so their slave, let me say it the way they said, the owners of the people, the owners, and he used the masters, he used the word masters and owners, and stating that they will oversee the people on these farms, because the farm work wouldn't get done because they're paying them little to nothing, the Hispanic community, and they are slaving on these farms. So now Donald Trump has cleared enough for them to go work on them, but they have to have overseers and masters, or owners. I believe he used the word owners, which is another word for slave master. So we're back into the whole ordeal of being enslaved. They just put slavery back in play. Not only did they put slavery back in play in that way, they put slavery back in play in another way where they're saying children of 8 years old have their dependency. What will an 8-year-old child have need with dependency? An 8-year-old child with dependency is horrific in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. What does that do for the child? What does that do for a parent? They said it was an economical a standpoint, or economical point that they wanted to point of reference that they wanted to use. But there's nothing there. There's nothing there with an 8-year. What job can you give an 8-year-old, right?
So all this stuff that you see going on in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community, and it's getting worse and worse. Black men are still being found hung in the year 2025, 2 different locations, one in Albany, I believe the other one was in Georgia. And this was just recent, last month. And the end of last month, if I'm not mistaken. So this is real recent. All these things is happening in the United States, but what are Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians to do? Well, I have the answer for you. What Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians need to do is get in school. And when I say in school, I mean the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Come into school, learn your history, learn your culture, learn why we are going through these devastating things that's happening in our communities, from crack cocaine to our little girls being whores. I mean, to the fathers being so-called deadbeats and not wanting to be around their children, from drug dealing, prostitution, black on black crime, gang on gang violence. You want to know the answer to solving these things? Follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God of Israel. If you're Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, if you come from the 12 tribes of Israel, then the best thing and the only thing we can do and the only way we can fight is by following the Lord. He said, vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. Meaning, don't go seek vengeance on your own. Don't go out there and do a Nat Turner. Don't go and do a Nat Turner. Don't go out there and trying to unalive the oppressor, but yet just follow the Most High God and he will take care of it. You have to remember the book of old, in the book of the book of old, in the book of Moses, or in the book of Exodus, Salakia. You got to remember in the book of Exodus, when we got freed, Moses was coming just praying. Moses was coming to going to Pharaoh and giving Pharaoh the word from the Most High God of just saying, let my people go pray to me for 3 days. Let them come serve me for 3 days. And Pharaoh said, if they have enough time to take 3 days off to go serve a God, they need to work harder. And thus, the whole slavery mindset is there. The slavery mindset is make them work harder, give them more work to do. And guess what? They put Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians in more slummish conditions they was already in and made them work harder. And the answer from the Most High God to Pharaoh's answer about making them work harder was the plagues that took place therefore. When those plagues happened, it was a way to try and get Pharaoh to see fit that he freed the children of Israel and just allowed them to pray to him. And after some point, the Most High God got fed up with Pharaoh and said, you know what? No problem. Now let them go. I don't even want them to come just to be freed. I don't want them just to be free. I want my people to be let free. I don't want them to just come pray to me. I want them to be free. So what did the Most High God do? He sent Moses back and forth to communicate with Pharaoh for him and saying, hey, listen, let my people go. You don't want to let them go? Cool. Plague after plague after plague after plague after plague happened until the last plague, which was all the firstborn of Egypt, was unalived. Thus, you have the answer of Passover. This is where Passover comes, where the Hispanics and Native Indians and the so-called Negroes was told to put the blood of a lamb over their door, over the door, so the death angel would pass over. Once the death angel passed over, that means they wouldn't unalive your firstborn. They knew you were an Israelite. So they knew you were the part of the 12 tribes. And at that very moment was the cure, because Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians was given a choice to serve the Most High God and follow his laws, statutes, and commandments. Because when they went into the wilderness after getting free, they went into the wilderness and Moses went and obtained the law of God. He went and got the commandments of God. And we were given a choice then. Follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, or receive punishment. And the punishments are what we're enduring now. This is what we're enduring. We're enduring, extreme depression. Extreme depression. We're experiencing, we see death at every door. you know, children, from children to the elderly, and the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. Just the other 2 days ago, 14 young girls went missing from Washington, D.C. Prior to that, I believe it was 42 young girls, right? And this is all just in a short period of time. 42, and then another 14 young girls from Washington, D.C. just up and went missing. Children are being kidnapped by the thousands. Two people were walking in New York. In the video, I couldn't retrieve the video because it was sensitive video, but it was two parents with their child. Their child started walking a little bit behind. They're walking in New York, and some man, and they got this on video. Some man ran behind them, walked behind the kid who was trying to take the kid. The kid evaded, and then it went from the kid evading to the person running, snatching the boy. You can see this on the video. He snatched up the boy. I'm going to see if I can pull this video. He snatched up the boy, and when the parents turned around and saw it, they went to go chase him. He slammed threw the child down on the ground, slammed him down, and they gave chase to the man. Of course, eventually they said they caught the man, and you know, whatever happened from there. But this is happening in that alarming rate in Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians community. You don't see this happen in the Caucasian race. You don't see this happen in the East Indian race. You don't see this happening in Chinese race. You don't see that. You only see it with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And this is the curses that's given to us by the Most High God. These are the curses. You want to see poverty? Go look in the ghettos and the slums and the barrios of any ghetto. Go to the ghetto. Go where there's Black communities. Go to Mississippi and look at the poor. Go to Louisiana and go look at the downpour, the effects of Hurricane, I believe it was Katrina. Look how long ago that was. And look at still the poverty now of these places. Go look at these places and you find ghost towns. Go to Virginia, West Virginia, you'll find towns still abandoned. Certain small towns abandoned. These were Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian communities. And they're abandoned for poverty. Go downtown where you live and watch the homeless sleeping on the streets. And go in the ghettos and the barrios and watch your people strung out over crack cocaine and fentanyl. And now for these children, pills. You want to see poverty. You want to see devastation. You want to see the destruction of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for not serving the Most High God, for not following his law. Go in your community. Look at your family. It's molestation in your family. This is for teaching purposes. YouTube, this is for teaching purposes. But go look at the child touching in your families by family members and friends. Look at the people that's being around. Look at the LGBT, the rise of the LGBT community in your community and the ghettos and the barrios. Look at it in your family. Why are so many transsexuals or bisexuals and all these sexuals? Why is that such a high thing? Look at the radio that you listen to. Go listen to the music that's being pumped in the airwave. Look at the agenda that's being pushed. You want to see Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians going. You want to know who the real children of Israel is? Look at the conditions of the people. I'm not talking about the one or two Jay-Z's or the Kanye West or the star footballs, the Michael Jordans. I'm talking about go in the ghettos. Look at the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people as a whole, not the one or two poppies that own a store that's still struggling because they got to pay the taxes on everything and they got to pay the storefront. They still got to feed their families. We ain't talking about that. Look at the people as a whole, and you will see destruction. And I'm going to show you where this destruction came from. I'm going to show you exactly why this destruction is. We're going to start off in the book of Deuteronomy, which is just, it's a glorious book. You can't help but to read from the book of Deuteronomy. But we're going to go in the book of Deuteronomy, and we're going to read a little bit in the book of Deuteronomy. One moment. It's the book of Deuteronomy. Young man Hector, shalom. Shalom, young man Hector. What's going on with you? Let me see. Deuteronomy. We're gonna go 28. I could go 27, but we're gonna go to 28 and 1. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Now I'm gonna go back one before we go there. Check this out. Listen to this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 1. Check what this says. And it says, and Moses with the this is Deuteronomy 27 and 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep the commandments which I command you this day. This was an order given when Moses, this is what Moses gave the order. He went to the elders and said, hey, look, this is what we got to do. We got to follow these laws, statutes, commandments. This is our foundation. This is the love of our God. He gave us commandment. He gave us a structure. And the moment he gave that structure, guess what was supposed to happen? We were supposed to follow and obey. We were supposed to follow and obey. When you're given an order, if you go to a job and they give you your job duties, you're supposed to obey them. If they tell you your job is to wash the dishes, clean the dish machine, clean the plates, dry them, and put them up and put them in order, pick up the plates, just saying a busboy, right? If that's your job, then guess what? You're going to pick up the plates, you're going to scrape the garbage off them, you're going to put them in the machine and put them on the racks and then slide it through the machine and get the machine going and let it clean the dishes. Then you're going to take them out, let them dry, do your next set. You're going to just line them up and run them through the machine. Dry. When they dry, you're going to put them in a place so they can go out and be served again, so they can be utilized again. That's a job detail. The scripture was a job that we had to keep. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians had it easy. You know, when you're a child, I find it hilarious now because I'm an adult. But when you're a child, right, you have simple things to do. Clean your room, do the dishes, take out the garbage, clean up behind yourself in the front room, keep your bedroom clean, you know, maybe clean the front, maybe clean the bathroom, you know, maybe clean the bathroom if you have to. Watch over your little brothers or your little sisters. And it's very simple things that you're told to do. Go to school, get good grades. Pay attention to school, don't be a clown. And your parents will reward you. Whatever gifts they may get you, or you did good, they're going to take you out here, maybe to go to eat. You know, being younger and being not in the truth, you know, the thing was Red Lobster, go to Red Lobster when you're young, or go to Six Flags Great Adventure or Dorney Park or whatever theme park was around. You would go to that, and you would go to special, you know, treats. You would go Old Country Buffet, and you would go to special places because you deserved it. Wildwater Kingdom, they would take you to these places and buy you these things, all types of games. Jesus Christ, Atari. I'm a little old, y'all. Please forgive me. Okay. But you will get the ColecoVision, you would get the Atari, you would get the Nintendo, and so on and so forth. You would get all the gifts because you're being intelligent. Your parents would give you, maybe even give you cash, you know, take you shopping, buy you what you want to buy, take you to Toys R Us. I know I'm really old because I'm talking about Toys R Us, right? But your parents would give you these gifts because you earned them, because you obeyed the command they gave you, because you listened, you took care of your responsibilities, you followed the structure that your dad set forth or that your mom set forth or your grandma or whoever you lived with. And they would give you these gifts because you earned it. Well, if you read in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, we're going now, the same way I just gave you what I just said that your parents gave you, so did Moses get with the old elders and said, hey, in Deuteronomy 27 and 1, it says that Moses with the elders of Israel commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. right there. That's your keep your room clean, and I'm just using what we know of old. This is the scripture. This scripture will tell you the commandments, the laws, the statutes, and commandments in the Bible. If you just pick it up off your grandmother's table and let it stop catching dust, and you read it, you would see that in the scriptures there's an order, there's a structure, there are things you're supposed to do. Right here, the Bible says, I'm gonna read verse 2. It says, and it shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, that thou shalt set up the great stones and plaster them with plaster. This is going into the land of milk and honey. This is just a quick description of where we would go when we crossed over and to the land of milk and honey, and we supposed to build up which would be our kingdom. It was supposed to be, the kingdom on earth. This is the land of milk and honey, and I'm gonna read the verse 3 so we can get a better understanding. It says, verse 3, and thou shalt write upon them all the words of the law. Notice what it's saying. On the walls, write the laws. Why did it want you write? Why did they say write all the write upon all the wall? I mean, write the words of this law. Why did it say this? Because this you're supposed to practice this. You're supposed to be always in remindance of the Most High God by always constantly have the Lord on your mind. How do you do that? If you always see the law and you always practicing the law, guess what? The law is always fulfilled. But the moment you take that away, which is what we have here in this kingdom, in lawless America, the law was taken away from us. Slavery, and the law was taken from us. The spirit of the Lord was taken away from the earth. That's why blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians went through such cruelty, and why we still continue to go through such cruelty, because we put our faith behind our oppressors. We serve the creature and not the creator. We too busy following behind Esau in his way. Do whatever you want. Be whoever you want. Who changed the law of God? Who said that a man can be a woman? Who said this? Who said this was okay? Who said this sick, sadistic type of thinking would be okay? Because by the Bible standards, God said it's an abomination. But because we follow the ways of our oppressor, who the Bible calls the devil, the greatest deceiver, the liar, we want to follow behind that. But here, let's read on. It says, when thou art passed over, that thou mayest go in unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, a land that floweth with milk and honey, as the Lord God of thy fathers hath promised thee. Now, this is something that let me explain something to you. The oppressor, the devil, they can promise you all the riches in the world. They can't supersede God's promise. They can put us in all types of captivity, slavery, put us all in prison systems like they do now, arrest us, beat us, unalive us like they do now. But the Most High God promised the kingdom of heaven shall be yours, Israel. And all we have to do is follow and obey. But we choose to be hard-headed. We choose to not obey. Now we're going to jump over to Deuteronomy 28. Verse 2. And this is going back to showing you what your parents gave you was the same thing what the Lord had gave us, just different levels. Like your parents gave you gifts for doing good. This is what the Most High God would give us. It says Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 2. It says, and all these blessings should come on thee and overtake thee. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Now, I want y'all to understand, your parents will tell you, if you get good grades, if you do good all school year, I'm going to take you to Disneyland. You know, that was like Disneyland, coming from North Jersey, and you like Disneyland. Oh, you want to take me to Disneyland? I'm getting to go. Oh, that's like some big ordeal. Or I'm gonna take you to Texas to whatever big thing is going on in Texas, or I'm gonna take you to California on vacation. And the more wealthier parents, the more richer parents, they say, I'm gonna give you a trip to Paris. Finish high school. Salaki. Before you go to college, I'm gonna send you to Paris for vacation. I'm gonna send you go have a vacation in Paris because you completed high school. You're about to go to college. Before you go away, go and take you on vacation to Paris or London or wherever they can afford, right? Or they will send you to Jamaica or these other places, right? As a gift. This is what the Lord said he was going to give us. He said, blessings. He said, all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. The Lord had something stacked up for us. Yo, you do good. Y'all good. Y'all do good. Y'all follow these laws, statutes, commandments. I got something for y'all. I got some blessings for y'all. I got some blessings, and they gonna overtake you. It's gonna be so much blessings you ain't even gonna know what to do with them. It's gonna overtake you. That's how much blessings the Lord was ready to give blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let's go a little more. Go to verse 3. It says, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. So in the city, in your goings and comings, in your workplace, in the field, wherever you at, it said you will be blessed. Could you imagine having to go to work for 2 hours and take it off and then you off for the rest of the day? 2 hours. I'm giving a hypothetical type of blessing that could have been if we just followed and obeyed. Imagine doing reverse the roles of what this kingdom is, but righteously. Imagine owning a stock market. Imagine owning so much land that you don't even know what to do with it all. Imagine owning so much property, you don't even know how to manage it all. You have to have people manage it. Like your oppressor owns so much property, they go get slave laborers to do the work to fix them up. And then they arrest them. They get ICE to come and arrest them. I don't want to pay them all this thousands of dollars I owe them. So we're going to call ICE on them, make sure their papers work right. Now we're going to charge astronomical rent. We're going to charge astronomical rent because we know who can afford it. All the sellouts, so to speak. And of course, your oppressor, the East Indian, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arab, we know who can afford this. The Caucasoids. But then you got to understand, imagine that was blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians owning all the property. Instead of the Jewish, what if all blacks owned all the property in the ghettos? What about the so-called Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans? What if the Dominicans really owned Dominican Republic? What about the so-called Puerto Ricans really owned Puerto Rico? Like they had a military and they had their own army. What if Haiti kept their own resources? And built and grew their land, and they didn't have to deal with the government of the United States. What if that happened? What if Jamaica was ran and owned by them? That would have been that glorious. What if the so-called Negro had a place to go to other than America, called home? What about Venezuelan? Ecuador? See, I can name these places. Here, I'm about to blow your mind. What if the so-called Native Indian still owned the land, which was theirs? America, so-called America. wouldn't have been so glorious. See, these are the gifts that we could inherit. We could inherit these gifts, own these different vast majority of land, and not have the answer to no oppressor. Guess what? Your mama wouldn't be on crack. Your daughter wouldn't be treated like a whore. Your aunt wouldn't have been raped a couple of times. Salakia for the language. This is for teaching purposes. Okay? But your aunt wouldn't have been touched on as a child. Your uncle wouldn't have never been a pedophile because he would have never been touched on when he was a child. We wouldn't have never known what it means to break in a buck. We would have never known of having yokes of iron upon our neck. If you go to some of these slave places, right, and they let you lift up the slave chains, if you knew how heavy those chains were, those chains was, I'm talking about heavy, thick chains that will hold you down. The baby chains was about this thick. Not that thick, but I'm talking about, it was about that thick, like for the babies. Those was for the babies. To weigh the babies down, because the babies went, oh, y'all think the babies ain't going to chains? They absolutely put the babies in the chains. They absolutely, when they caught Nat Turner, they unalived, they didn't just kill him and just didn't unalive him. No. They hung him. They shot him, riddled them with bullets, and then they put them on spits and cooked them. And then they ate them. Could you imagine never knowing the crack cocaine era? Could you imagine never to have, and I'm talking to you sisters now, could you imagine never knowing what an abortion was? Could you imagine knowing what that was like? What about giving your body away to everybody that wants a turn? Could you imagine not knowing about that? How about having a husband and he stays? He stays. He works it through with you. Hey, husbands, how about having multiple wives and not have them argue? Or somebody bust your windows out, flatten your tires? How about never knowing what child support was? How about being a father, being able to raise your children? This was the gifts. This was the gifts. The Most High God said he was going to give us these things. You know, at a time when King Solomon ruled and King David ruled, we walked around. Y'all, oh, my bad. Y'all probably think jewelry is new. Gold chains and gold teeth and earrings and stuff. That's not new. We was doing that back in the day. I'm talking about we used to wear big jewels in your mouth. I'm talking about not just gold teeth. I'm talking about jewels, red stones in your mouth. That's jewelry. We walked around with that. Yep. Could you imagine to be able to do that? Could you imagine to have red jewels and to be walking around doing? Just listen. Your job, you got jewels in your mouth. Your job is only to go get the sheep. Go be Lord over the sheep. All you do is take the sheep out, do what you need to do, bring them back, hurl them all back in. That was your job, and you live in a life of luxury. We had all that, but because I'm gonna get to it, I'm going there. I know we don't like going here, but we're gonna get there. But let's read a little more Deuteronomy, because so y'all don't think I'm lying. This is book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 4. It says, "Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep." You understand? How about you? We never would know homelessness. The poorest man would have land with sheep. The poorest man. In Israel, he would have some land, sheep, somewhere he could raise his children, probably close to some water, so he have a well set up where he ain't got to pay for nothing. catch some rainwater. Could you understand? Could you understand not never having to know about smoking coke, marijuana, doing drugs, eating shrimp, pork, crab, or lobster, never knowing that? You wouldn't have to marry a whore. Your wife wouldn't be a harlot. It says, blessed shall be thy fruit of thy body. Imagine not having to worry about going to the doctor every goddamn week because you got high blood pressure, because you're so stressed out. You know, you so stressed out. We so depressed that we don't even realize that we're oppressed. My bad, I said it backwards. We're so oppressed that we don't know we're stressed, that we're depressed. We don't know it because we don't even comprehend the fact that we're still in slavery. The chains are invisible. And all we had to do was this. The fruit of our ground would have been blessed. The cattle would have been blessed. That means that's the equivalent of your money then. Now, until it would have been your money. Your money would have been nice. It would have been an increase of your money. It's crazy. This verse 5. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Guess what? Whatever business you had, booming. Booming. You could have been a seamstress. You could have been a brother that traded your stock around, meaning your cattle, and, I'll give you 2 lambs for 2 goats, whatever, You could have been a person that did seasonings, rare seasonings. And guess what? All that would have been blessed. Your business would have been dope. But you know what happened? I'm going to get to it. Just hold on. We're going to go down to verse 6. Verse 6 said, blessed shall thou be when thou cometh and thou cometh in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. So guess what? When you go to and fro, wherever you was going to be blessed. We, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, I'm talking about us, the nation of Israel, we'd have been blessed moving around. Let me ask you, young man Hector, do you feel blessed going and coming in the streets? Do you feel blessed and coming and going in the streets of Perth Amboy? Of course, you're alive. And of course, you probably got a roof over your head. Do you feel blessed? Do you feel blessed going and coming? It gives you a moment to pause. Salaki, somebody's always doing worse. Somebody's life is more crazier than yours. We know that in today's time, that you might have a harsh time. Your job might not be paying you well, but guess what? You might be making only $15 an hour. Somebody's only making 10 or 12. Somebody's only making 12. You might be struggling, but you might have your kids. Hey, young man Hector, you and I both. Young man Hector said, I feel stressed out. Young man Hector, you and I both. Let me tell you, I drive. I have a CDL Class A license. I drive a garbage truck. I work for the city of New York. I have to get in and out the truck every stop and help with the bags. It's only me and one other person. And I work commercial. I work commercial stuff, not residents. I work the commercial properties, which means I'm going to the McDonald's, the pizza parlors, the Dunkin' Donuts. I'm going to the stores, and I pick up bulk. Let me tell you something. If it's 400 stops, guess what? I got to get out, in and out that truck 400 times. You want to see stress? Bills coming. Hey, young man Hector, you only work to slave so you can pay bills. You slave so you can pay bills. Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Young man Hector said bills coming in faster than the money. Hey, young man Hector, you are not a liar. You are not a liar. On that note, young man Hector, ooh-wee, the bills coming too fast. Listen, I started going bald in the middle because of the bills. and the stress. Boy, ooh wee. Blood pressure is so high. Could you imagine going to the doctor? You're taking high blood pressure medication. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 types of high blood pressure medication. Among with 2 other pills, right? And you go to the doctor and they say your blood pressure is still 179 over 103 or 107. Do you understand that you have to be going through some crazy stress? That has to be a record. I think the highest my blood pressure was like 123. I mean, no, it was like 223 over 137. They said I was supposed to be having a stroke right then and there. They said I was supposed to be having a stroke, a mild heart attack at least, or a stroke. That's what they said. They said I should be in the hospital. They said I had the blood pressure of somebody that has PTSD that just came home from war. That's the blood pressure I had. Still got it. Still take the meds. And guess what? I do it with a smile because I serve the Lord of Israel. I serve the God of Israel, knowing this means nothing. This is but yet for a moment. Our time is near. Our time is near. Because when I read these scriptures and I read the blessings, when I read the blessings with the Most High God, what my God told me, the God of Israel, what he said, the promises, this was the promises. We could have had this already. We've been given this. We was in a land of milk and honey. He gave us the kingdom. We chose to not follow. Because in 27, they was talking about going to Jordan and getting the kingdom and expressly expressing just all we got to do is follow the law, statutes, and commandments. You read here, all these blessings, blessed going in and coming out in the streets of Jersey City, New Jersey. You fear walking out of your goddamn door because the police will unalive you if the block don't. Because there's some YN that's trying to prove a name. There's some YN that's trying to prove a name for himself. He has to join the gang. He has to make a name for himself. Or worse, there's one of your people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, one of our people that's so far on drugs, they just need to get high. And they seen you put that $20 bill in your pocket to go to the store to go get some milk. And they need to get high. So they're going to rob you. And in the process, you're going to be unalived. This is what we suffer. This is what we suffer in the ghettos, in the barrios, in the slums. It is sick. It is sick. Let me show you how. Let me show. Wait a minute. You know what? I'm gonna do it now. Give me 1 second. Wait a minute. Let's do this real quick. Let me do it. I'm gonna do it. I was gonna wait to do it, but let me do it. Let me go to my name. Slack it 1 second. Young man Hector, I got a video for you. I want you to tell me, how do you feel about this video? Let me see if I can set it up. 1 second. Pause. 1 second. How do I share? No. How do I share? 1 second. Yash did not show me how to. No. 1 second. I'm looking to see how to share this video. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna see how I can share this video. Once I share this video, trust me, it's gonna open some eyes. I pray it do. I pray I'm able to share this video. I don't know how. I don't know how. Yash knows how to share this video. Let me see. Let me try something else. No, that's not doing it. Select message. No. I apologize. I wish I knew how to share this video. Uh-oh, I think I might have it. Let me see. Share. Share. Okay. Lock it. Share. One moment, Israel. One moment. I do not know how to do this. Slack it. I'm going to save it for next class. But here, I'll play this video. And we'll share this one. Slack it. Where's the sound? Okay, right here.
Social.
Deputy,
A video of a Marion County Sheriff's deputy detaining a man on his property is getting hundreds of reactions on social media.
The man says he gave the deputy his ID as he was asked and still detained and placed in the back of a patrol car. TV 20's Deja Clayton has the body camera video of the interaction and reaction from the couple.
You own this? Y'all own this property?
Yes, we do.
Doesn't mean you own it.
We own this.
Let me see your IDs.
You need to get off our property.
Let me see your IDs.
Get
now.
off our property.
Let me see.
Evangela and Freddie Jackson say they were eating
First of all,
in their car on their property in Fleming.
Slack it. First of all, right? First of all, I want y'all to understand that this is not being blessed in the field. This is what we have to suffer as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You have a black man and a black woman. I'm sure this is an older couple, right? It's a husband and wife. They bought some nice land. Look at that land. If y'all look at it, it's a nice piece of land. Nice piece of land. They got construction going on, trying to build up their house, and they just trying to live the American dream. That's all they're trying to do is live the goddamn American dream. It's a lie. I want everybody to understand. Young man Hector, this is why the bills is coming in so fast. Because we trying to live the American dream. And they're going to keep raising the prices on everything. I remember a studio apartment would cost $500 in the ghetto. Probably a little less than that. Depending on where you was at. About $350 to $500. A studio apartment. Just a studio apartment. Now, a studio apartment costs about anywhere between $1,200 and $1,600. Right now, between $1,200 and $1,600. But look at this couple. They probably worked all their goddamn life. They finally get to move into their dream home because they get to build it how they want to build it. You got this peckerwood, Salakia for the language. To the men above me, Salakia. To Israel, Salakia. But you got this goddamn peckerwood who comes on their property because he's seen a new house being built. A new house being built on this nice vast land. And some black woman and some black man is just sitting in their car, minding their goddamn business. And he comes upon them in their property. You own this? You own this? And they say, yes, we do. Right then and there, the conversation was to, okay, so, no problem. You own this. This is yours. Once you say yes, there should be no discrepancy. But look at the attitude of this cop. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to the attitude of this cop. 1 second. Just bring it back just a little bit. Check out this cop.
You need to get off our property. Let me see your IDs. Y'all own this property?
Yes, sir. That's what they said. You own this property? Yes, sir. Listen to them.
Y'all own this property?
Yes, sir. We here, ain't we?
Doesn't mean you own it.
We own it.
Because they're sitting there. And if y'all look in the background, you see that gate? When you look at that gate, that's the type of gate that keeping horses. And that's the gate horse. That's a horse gate. That's the big cattle gate, you know, so you might have cattle. So they got them a nice piece of land. I'm talking about a real nice piece of land. And they tell them, yeah, we own this. This is ours. Check them out.
This property?
Yes, sir. We here, ain't we?
Doesn't mean you own it.
We own it.
He said, we here, ain't we? She said, yes, we do. He said, yeah, we're here, ain't we? And he said, doesn't mean you own it.
Own it.
Let me see your IDs.
You need to get off our property.
Let me see your IDs.
Now, listen, first of all, I want y'all to understand, if that was a white couple, there would have been no discrepancy after that point. But check this out. He asked for the IDs. They asked him, kindly leave off, get off our land, get off our property. Right then and there, he was supposed to obey that command. Remember, the police are to protect and serve the people. That's their job duty. That's what they're told to do. These people tell you this is their land. You were supposed to leave off their land, off their property once they ask you. If he was so suspicious of anything foul that these people really didn't own the land, his job was supposed to do, go and report this, call his deputy or call the chief, and then check out the paperwork, and then come back with paperwork. But this is an elderly couple. Mind you, it's not some young kids. This is an elderly couple, but pay attention.
Get off our property.
Devangela and Freddie Jackson say they were eating in their car on their property in Flemington when Marion County Sheriff's deputy.
Now listen, if it was some foul play, why are they eating? Why are they sitting there eating? Because if somebody's trying to be inconspicuous, they're doing a crime and they're trying to commit a crime, they're not going to be somewhere eating. They're going to be somewhere in the cut, not out in the open where someone can catch them, ride by and see them. They would be behind the house or somewhere hidden. They would not be out sitting eating. But this husband and wife is sitting in their car on their property, eating, which they have the right to do. Now we're going to listen.
When Marion County Sheriff's Deputy Riley Artman pulled up asking for their ID and if they owned the property.
Someone just pulled in and
Look at this young man. He probably worked all his life. He probably about 40, 47, somewhere around there. This young lady, she probably in her late 30s, early 40s, somewhere. They probably about the same age. They work. Look at the house, new construction. So black people can't own no new house. Black people can't get their house built from the ground up. No, he black. She black. No, hell no. They can't own nothing. They can't be looking like this, getting a house built. And they got a barnyard style house. Look at that. Brand new house. Built. Being worked on. No, you can't own that. You can't be no Negro. Not owning no. It's like that. If you ever seen the movie Django, and Samuel Jackson, that part where Jamie Foxx rolled up on that horse, he said, "Who that nigga up on that nag? Why is that nigga up on that nag?" So lock it for the language. But that's what it said. That's what he said, right? And that's like saying, who that in that house? Why is they there? Shouldn't own no house. Check him out, though. Listen to him.
What are you doing here?
then we tell you we live here?
The couple says after Freddie Jackson provided his ID with his address on it, he steps out of the car and Deputy Artman tells him to get back inside. This leads Artman to detain Jackson and place him in the back of his patrol car.
Now, he didn't get out with a weapon. Now, I want y'all to understand this. This black man said, here's my ID. My ID got my name and address on it. You pulled up to my address, my land, which I asked you get off. I then showed you proof of this being me because my picture ID serves as a valid ID to say who I am. It has my picture on it. I gave my license and it has my address on it, which is the land that you're walking on that I asked you to get off. And still, because I got out my car to tell you then, go ahead, get off my land, you feel the because you, and I'm telling you what happened. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. That white man was so goddamn mad. He was so mad, he had to arrest him. He had to put him in cuffs. He had no valid reason to put this man in cuffs. He was so damn mad, he had to put him in cuffs. You want to talk about injustice? You want to talk about being oppressed? You want to talk about being depressed? Young man Hector, he should be angry, outraged. He should be outraged because at this point, look at him. He's at his property. I proved I am who I am. And because I got out my car, that's your excuse. That's your reason. Your reason for putting me in cuffs is because I got out my goddamn car on my property that I asked you to leave and proved it was mine. Check him out.
My name and my tag, knowing I stay here. This is my.
Now you hear that? You check him out. You done ran the tags on his car. So let's back it up. Let's back it up. Hold on now. Hold on, Israel. Hold on. Check me out though. I want y'all to understand how corrupt this really is. I want y'all to know how corrupt this really is. When the cops pulled up, of course he ran the tags. This is how sick this is. Of course he ran the tags on the car. They're trained to do it. When they pull up on a car, they run the tags before they even get out the car. So one, if you have a license and they run your tags, that come up is your car, your picture gonna come up on their computer that they have on it right there next to them. He ran his name, he ran his tags. I'm telling you that it's what they do. When they pull you over, they run your tags. That's why when if you're driving a car and it belongs to your girl, they say, well, this is coming back as being owned by such and such and such. So you know they run your tags. This man's car is in his name. Guess what? Guess what address? Guess what address is on his tags? Guess what address is connected to his tags? The address where he at. Did you hear what he said? The address where he had. I know he ran my tags. He ran my tags. When he ran my tags, guess what? It comes up as my property. Where I live. It comes up, this is where I live. It comes up this is where I live. How you run a man's tag, his car tags, and it says where he live, and then you walk up on him and say, hey, do you live here? Do you live here? That's that I'm telling you. Why is that nigga owning this land? So lock it for the language. That's what that is. Why he got this? How did he get it? He must be a drug dealer. He couldn't have worked hard for his life. He couldn't have worked. Him and his wife could not have worked and saved every goddamn penny to get this home. To get their home remodeled. They couldn't have did that. But he had an attitude because this black man owned something. Let's get a little more into it. Let's dig a little bit more into it. Let's check it out. We're gonna bring it back just a little bit. Check him out.
You done ran my name and my tag, knowing I stay here. This is my property. Wow, you still put me in the handcuffs in the police car.
In this body camera video, you can see Deputy Artman check the permit box on the property and later releases Jackson. Nevangela believes they were racially profiled.
In my mind, you're thinking, oh, I see an old Honda 2000 Accord parked in front of a nice new construction building, and I see two black people sitting in there. They have no business there.
I reached out to the sheriff's office for comment, but they declined to talk with us. It's unclear if the deputies' actions are being reviewed to see if any policies were broken.
Jackson says they've already reached out to a lawyer and are looking to file a lawsuit. In Marion County, Deja Clayton, TV 20 News.
So when you hear stories like this, right, and you hear blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians wanting to live the American dream, they want to live the American dream. It is sad when you see these things happen in our communities, and you read the laws of the Most High God, and it says we would be blessed going in and coming out. Hey, young man Hector, I'm gonna pause what I was gonna read in Deuteronomy. I'm gonna go get the book of Job. I'm gonna get that for you because hey, you'll be always on point with these books. Let me get it for you. Job 21. Let me see. 21 and 7.
Bro, the level just started.
We're gonna read this from the book of Job. One moment. I left my physical Bible in the car, Salakia. So I have to use my phone. Young man Hector said he would like the book of Job, chapter 21, verse 7 through 9 read. This is the book of Job, chapter 21, verse 7. Wherefore do the wicked live? Become old, ye are mighty in power. Verse 8. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Verse 9. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. Hey, you know what? Hey, this is good. This is good, young man Hector, right? This is good. But let me show you what this is really for right here. This scripture right here. Let me give you a little drink on this one. I'm gonna go to verse 5. Verse 5. Mark, it says Job 21 and 5. Mark me and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Verse 6. Even when I remember, I am afraid and trembling, taking hold on my flesh. Wherefore, verse 7, wherefore do the wicked live? Become old, ye are mighty in power. Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their offspring be their eyes. This is talking about living in a wicked place. And if you read up, if you go back to 20 and you go down to 20 and read down 29, 20 and 29, it says this is the portion of the wicked this is the portion of a wicked man from God, and the heritage appointed upon him by God. Right? Now you want to, when you use this scripture, you gotta read close, right? Because actually go up to 27. The book of Job, chapter 20, verse 27. It says, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, the heathen shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. It says 28. It says the increase of his house shall depart, and his good shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from God, and the heritage appointed unto him by God. Now this is speaking about what a wicked man would get, right? Now you go over to Job 21 and 1, you read up, you go, but Job answered and said, hear diligently my speech, and let this be your consolation. It says, verse 3, it says, suffer me that I may speak, and after that I have spoken, mock on. So you can mock on, you can talk bad about him. Go ahead. This is someone trying to mock him. Job. It says, as for me is my complaint to man, and if it were so, why should not my spirit be troubled? Mark me and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Meaning Job was depressed. Job was extremely depressed. Job lost everything, and he was trying to figure out what the hell happened. Why is it happening to me? And Job wasn't complaining to people. Job was praying to the Lord. What did I do? Because I know it's me. Where did I mess up? Job took that onto himself. And what Job understood, he was following the law, statutes, and commandments. If you read in the beginning, when he went to the temple to pray to the Lord, he said, I think my kids sinned against you. I think my kids have sinned against you. So I'm making a prayer for them. If you read in the beginning of Job, Job was a man that was upright, righteous, who followed and feared the Most High God. And now that everything was taken from him, Job was trying to figure out what in the hell did he do? Where did he go wrong? And now when you read in 20, and when you go to 20 and 21, they was mocking Job because Job was like, what the? Like, he's trying to figure it out. When you get over here to 21, Job is telling them, like, in 20, when he says, he's saying, they said the heathen shall reveal his iniquities. A heathen gonna show you what he's a heathen. A heathen is gonna show you a heathen. It's just like now in today, even the video, the devil gonna show you he's a devil. Why this cop pulled him over? For what reason? He had none. But he's the devil. And he's gonna show you he's the devil. I'm gonna put you in cuffs. Even though I ran your tags and know your name is on his property. Even though I ran your tags and not even know that your name is on his property. He ran the tags and know that he lived on his property. So even if there was new construction going on, things being rebuilt, guess what his tag said? He lives there. He gave you his name and he lived here. This is his address connected to his tags. Then you further went and looked at the man and said, hey, do y'all live here? Him and his wife said, sure, we live here. This is our property. You can go ahead and leave. His pride got in the way because that's definitely his ego and his pride was there. They was hurt. So the cop further went and did the pushing and the pressing. Let me see your ID. He done gave you his ID. You looked at his ID. You done seen that it's the name of the tags that you just ran. You done seen his face because now you're looking at his ID. So he basically said, this is who I am. This is where I live. My ID says the property here. The tag says it's related to this property. So, and then you're going to tell me I don't live here. I'm telling you it's my property. Leave. I get out of my car and then you arrest me. And you put me in the back of a police car to detain me for what purpose? My bad. Let me say you was in fear of your life. You was in fear of your life. First of all, you wouldn't be in fear of your goddamn life if you wasn't on my property. But you was in fear of your life. So what did you do? You further insult me and put me in a police car. Then you walk down and look at you go in the mailbox, which is illegal, even if a cop does it. But then you go in the mailbox and you open the mailbox and like, all my mail is there. You look in the property thing, my name is there. So now you're forced. Because your body cam is on. And if you did anything that didn't go with that, guess what happens? Now you risk not just losing your job, you risk going to jail because you're all in the wrong. But here in 20, it was telling you a heathen going to show you himself. This for you, young man Hector. It's going to say a heathen going to show you who he is, and it's going to show you that the earth going to rise up against you because your sinful way, the earth not going to let you be that way. Look at all the things, the wickedness that's going around us, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian communities. Now look at the waking up of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian community. It shows you that the drugs is wrong. It shows you crack cocaine is wrong. It shows right now the CIA and all them other government agencies, they're admitting that they had parts on bringing the crack cocaine in the ghettos and the barrios. Because the truth is coming out. The president had parts in it. Ronald Reagan had a war on drugs. When they was bringing the drugs in, they got pictured with the goddamn cartel. It's showing the earth won't let them just know. It's going to show them their wickedness. The truth came out about them cooking black people and taking their body part, eating the black people because thinking they would get superpower. They still burn in the sun like vampires. Even though they put on sunscreen, they still burn in the sun. But that's neither here nor there. Listen. But this right here, this scripture is saying that heathen's going to be a heathen and the earth going to show them who they are. And then it says the increase of the house. This is in Job 20 and 28. It says the increase of the house shall depart. And it's showing you that their ruin will always happen. Look at Weinstein or whatever the guy named who had the private island, right? Look, the house going to destroy itself. It's going to destroy itself. The Lord is not going to allow it to keep prospering. They house destroyed. But then it's saying this is the portion of a wicked man from God and the heritage appointed upon him by God. This is God's going to punish them. Don't worry about punishing. Don't worry about getting back. Don't worry about vengeance. God going to handle them. Just like the goddamn devil, the oppressor that the Bible speaks of. Just they gonna get their payback. They're gonna get their just due. It's all in the scriptures. But that's another class, another day. We're gonna keep going. But then when you go down to 21, you go to Job chapter 21, verse 1, and then it tells you, but Job answered and said, now he's giving a reply to all of this. He said, hear diligently my speech, and let me be your consolation. Job is saying, listen to me. Let me show you. Plain and simple, right? And then he says, suffer me that I may speak. And after that, I have spoken. Mark on. So let me say what I got to say. And after I say what I got to say, hey, mark on if you choose. Right? You go to 4, it says, as for me, my complaint to man is my complaint to man. Job was out in the street and he was going through it. He said, am I complaining to man? Is my complaint with man? He said, and if so, no. And if it was so, why should not my spirit be troubled? My spirit is troubled. I lost everything. Everything is destroyed right now. All that I've owned, I was a rich, prominent man, and I live righteously. If I'm complaining, so what? It's if you go down to 5, it says, mark me and be astonished, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Cover your mouth and listen. Right? It says, even when I remember, I am afraid and trembling taketh hold on my flesh. Wherefore, now this is where you came in, young man Hector. He said, even when I remember that I'm afraid because I don't know what's going on. He's really like, what the hell happened, right? But he said, even when I'm so afraid that I'm shaking because I'm trying to figure out what's going on. He's shaking because of what the Lord allowed to happen to him. But if you go here and go in verse 7, it says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, ye are mighty in power. Ye are mighty in power. And then you read in 8, it says their seed. Now this is telling about their seeds. This talk about rich people that's in power, the wicked people, right? But it's saying even when the wicked where they live become old, it says ye are in power. Ye are mighty in power. It says their seed is established in their sight with them and the other offspring and their offsprings, therefore their eye. Their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. This is, you can tell, again, this is going back to saying you know who the scriptures was given to. You know who the law was given to, because the oppressor wasn't given the law. They wasn't so they don't have to fear the Lord, the Most High God of Israel. Like they don't have a what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have the law, so they have no structure. So they have no rules to follow. They have no rules to follow. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we were given rules. We're going to go back to Deuteronomy. We're going to go back to the book of Deuteronomy, right? And we're going to go back to Deuteronomy 28. Let's go down, because I gave some of the blessings, right? And we understand, and we will be blessed if we just follow the Most High God. Overall, that was the gist of everything. We will be blessed if we follow the Most High God and obeyed him, listened to his commandments. We would get all this, we would get all that. And it was many things that the Lord said we will receive, which were good things, great things. Blessed in the street, blessed going and coming, riches. We ain't even had a land of milk and honey, meaning it was wealth there. We didn't need nothing. Everything was there. Everything we needed was there. We had laws, statutes, the commandments. The fruit was in abundance. That means the earth yield the fruit. If we whatever what's the word I'm looking for? I just lost it. Whatever crops that we would grow or whatever, everything was good. The farming that we would do, the sheep herding, all that was good. Everything was good. It was green pastures, land of milk and honey. That means the resources of that land was great. We didn't need nothing. We had everything we need, but we chose not to follow. And because we chose not to follow, because we chose not to heed the word of the Lord, the Most High God, this is what happened. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Verse 15, and this is why that black man was on his land with a new house, with his wife getting his brand new house construction done, and why a cop pulled up on him. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses, I want y'all to understand, when you saying damn and hell and the F-bomb and holy sugar honey iced tea and all that other stuff and calling people MFers and all that stuff, that's not cursing. That's derogatory language at its best. That's derogatory English language at its best. But this here, what the scriptures say in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, when it says, all these statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Young man Hector, you know why you suffer? You know why you feel so stressed out? Hey, young man Hector, how young are you? How young are you? My hair is graying. My brother, he's like almost a year older than me, right? Just about a year older than me. He has a head full of gray hair. I'm talking about gray. His beard is completely gray. His hairs on his head is complete. He got silver hair. That's how gray he got a whole head full of white. I'm telling you. You want to talk about stress? He only got one kid. One kid. You hear me? He got one kid. He got a head full of gray. He's not in the truth. He's in the world. I got gray. And ooh-wee. You 38? Most High Christ. You got some age on you. Let me explain something to you. You want to know where that stress came from? You don't want to know where that stress came from? Because this world is wicked and you live in it. You live in it. And because of these curses, this is where that stress comes from. These curses. The stress comes from these curses right here. Young man Heckler, I'm telling you, the bills that's coming in faster than the money, that's because of this right here. This is that curse. Because we did not hearken to the Lord. Our forefathers, and I'm not talking about Jacob, Isaac. I'm not talking about them. No. I don't want you to think I'm talking about them. I'm talking about when we went into the land of milk and honey that Moses got us to, and we was living comfortably. We ain't want to listen. We had a promise that the Lord said, okay, chill out here. Could you imagine going to a place you don't owe nobody rent? All the minerals, you have all the cattle you need, you have all the food resource, you have all the land that you can build infrastructure, you can build, your farmlands, you can build up your community, build up your resource. You got water, you can build your pipe system for your water, you can build up and cultivate this land and make it yours. And everything is free. Could you imagine going there with the wisdom of knowing how to build up your own city, knowing how to make your own place and build it up, and there's nothing but your people there, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and the Lord says, go ahead, do what you want to do. Just follow my laws, statutes, and commandments, and everything's gonna be good. I'm sitting here trying to even imagine that such a freedom. At 38, young man Hector, in that time, you would have been sitting somewhere still, probably a little bit on your father's land, just down some. He'd have probably gave you about so many such acres. You probably took on a wife or maybe two, or however many the Lord would have blessed you with. You had some sons and daughters with some land, with some cows and some sheep to be herd, and so just a plethora of wealth and relaxation. Somebody gonna go out there and till the land. You got a certain outer portion of the land that, just in case for those who are less, they can go get free fruit, free vegetables from off your land. You don't worry about it, because in the Bible it says, get back to the land, let them have it. If it falls from the tree, let them have it. If it's on a certain outskirts of the land, let them have it. That's like giving you tithes. Oh, and guess what? You've been living like a fat rat. Not calling you a rat, I ain't saying that. Because, we don't want that misconception. But you would have been living lovely. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, we would have been living so lovely. But because we want to be hard-headed and we want to get the understanding of what a curse is, we live in poverty and downridden conditions in the ghettos. We live in the ghettos and the barrios and in the slums. I go to the store and I watch a woman whom I've known all my life. Seems like we having a little technical trouble. Give it 1 second. I know it ain't out. 1, 2. Young man Hector, are you? Am I still coming in clear? I see I got a little hesitation on my end. Am I coming in clear, young man Hector? Try and give it a little time. Give it a little second to catch up. Young man Hector, tell me, put me a 1 in the chat if everything is clear. Give me a 2 if it's not. I see a large delay on my side. Okay, Most High in Christ. The water, young man, Hector. You said now listen, I want y'all to understand. Listen, young man Hector, the water, young man Hector. Listen, young man Hector put in the chat. I know I'm cursed because my father passed away 7 months ago and I inherit his debt. Debt collection want me to pay his bills. Ooh, wee. Even in death, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Even in death, this is how horrifying. Am I not plugged up? Is something not plugged up? Battery is running low. Is it? What's happening? 1 minute. 1 minute. We're having technical difficulties. One second. One second. I'm trying to make sure we stay on. I don't understand why this wire is. Let's close it out. I don't understand why it's not working. Let's set this here. Hopefully this battery is still blinking. Okay, there we go. Okay, hold on. Hold on. One second, young man. Hector. It should be 12. Let me see. Let's go to battery. 1 second. Slovakia. One second. 1 second. 1 second. Ain't no way it's not supposed to be charging. Oh. Don't worry about it. Hey, Slovakia. Young man Hector. Slovakia, I'm going to have to. I'm at 5%. I didn't realize. The wire is clipped. Yeah, the wire is clipped. Can you plug this up over there? 1 second, Slovakia. Let me see. Okay, we should be toward Slovakia. The map. Slovakia. So there we go. Slovakia had to switch plugs. It's like we had little technical difficulties. But back to what we were talking about. Young man Hector said, the collectors, let me say, they want me to pay his mortgage and property taxes in Florida. Hey, young man Hector, if you inherit that home, you should want to pay them taxes to keep the home in the family. You want to do that as best possible, or if Lord allow it, slack you. One moment. Slack you. Mine spill. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to keep that property, and you may have to pay them property taxes. But let me tell you, the oppressor is such a devil. Even in death, they still want your bills. They still want your money. They want your father's money in death, even if they're going to inherit it through the son. It's wickedness. This is wickedness at its finest. But you read in the scriptures, right? We think these curse words or these words that we speak in the streets, F this, F that. Nah, it's not curse. This is the curse. The curse is what you feeling right now, young man Hector. That's the curse. Right here, what the scripture is going to read about, and if you pay attention, it tells you what you're going to go through, young man Hector. What you're going through, it's going to tell you that very thing. Verse 16, it says, "Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field." So this is now when you're going to work, when you handle your business, saying you're going to be cursed. It says, "Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store." So guess what? You got a business that's saying you ain't going to make no money. And if you got a little bit of success, you got to think and see. I don't want everybody to do this selfish thing where you say, "Well, I'm good. I'm this." That's the entitled. The people that feel they entitled because they have a few dollars, they earned a few dollars or whatever have you. Those are the ones that feel entitled, right? Those are the ones that feel entitled. Slap it. 1 second. Just a minor spell slap here. Now, the scriptures say, "Cursed shall thou be in the field." When you, let me see, the state won $3,000 in back taxes and $18 a month. Woo, 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 woo. Hey, young man Hector, and you know what? It's horrifying that the oppressor expect this from you, and ain't no telling what your bills are. Ain't no telling what your bills are, and guess what? You can't even sell a property right now because you're in debt. So the only way you can even probably remotely get any money out of this, you would have to pay that. Hey, I understand, young man. Look, I understand, right? Hey, look, you see those numbers you put up? I drive a big truck. Right? I drive a truck, and my transmission went. I need that. I need that with you. The same amount you for both of them. With those two numbers you put up there, that's what I need right now to get my car fixed. Trust me, I understand, young man Hector. But this is part of the curses. This is what the scriptures are saying. Curse shall you for you go out in the land. You understand? It says, "Curse will you be in the land. Curse will you go in your goings and your comings. Curse gonna be your basket. Curse gonna be all this. Says, curse shall thou be thy fruit of thy body." And look, we deal with obesity in the ghettos. We deal with obesities in the slums, in the ghettos, in the barrios. You can toss that. We can toss that. We curse shall you be in the barrios and look at right now we deal with obesity in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. Because it says, "Curse shall thou be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land." What land do we own? Most black people, you see the so-called Jewish man coming in buying up all the properties, right? They come in, swoop in like thieves in the night, and they buy up all the properties. They offer you this money, but after you finish paying everything, you got to remember that you got to live. You got to live. So guess what? That money goes just as quick as it came in. You got bills. You was behind on this payment, that payment. And if you get anywhere above float, what you got? 20,000, 30,000 left over after you sell a house? How you going to live, though? You still got to go to work. You still got, if you got your other place, a place to live, you got mortgage or you got rent. But look right here. Listen, it goes into 19. We're going to drop down to 19. It says, cursed shall thou be when thou goes in, and cursed shall thou be when thou cometh out. So when you go into and from the land, and this is why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are afraid to be stopped by police. That right there, that verse alone should scare the life out of you. It should make you understand that the Bible is real, because when it reads, "Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out." When you going and coming, be afraid, because you can get unalived. You can't see that the Bible is real with all the things that's going on right now in today's society. You can't see that every time your children go outside in the street, one of them don't come home. We can't see that. We don't pay no attention that the children goes in the street and don't come home. Matter of fact, here I'm gonna show you going out and coming in. I'm gonna show it. Let me show it. Let me put this video. One moment. Take a look at this video. Hold on.
Claim has taken over social.
Let's bring it back.
In the past 2-3 days, a viral claim has taken over social media, stating that 34 black and brown girls have gone missing in Washington, D.C.
Now, I want you to understand, these are black and brown girls. Black and brown girls. I don't see no East Indian pictures up there. I don't see no Chinese people. And in DC, they have a whole community where it's called Chinatown. Ask me how I know, because we got a school in DC, and I went to DC to speak. And I also drive trucks for a living, and I done been in and out of DC doing deliveries, and I know there's a Chinatown in DC. And in Chinatown in DC, guess what? In Chinatown, guess what? In Chinatown, there are Chinese people. But on here, out of these 34 missing black and brown women, these young ladies, these young sisters, you see black and brown. You don't see no Chinese missing. What about any Jewish children? I don't see no Jewish young ladies up there. I don't see no Arabs young ladies up on this board. I don't see no East Indian children on this board. I don't see no Italian young ladies on this board. But I see black and brown babies. Hispanic babies. Listen to this.
Have gone missing in Washington, D.C. The posts are emotional.
Architecture and interior design? Find a 3D designer today.
In the past 2-3 days, a viral claim has taken over social media, stating that 34 black and brown girls have gone missing in Washington, D.C. The posts are emotional and urgent, but as of now, there's no confirmation from official sources or major news outlets that such a mass disappearance has happened.
And you know what? Here's some. Let me shock y'all. I'm about to shock y'all. You know, they said there's no news coverage. You don't see news coverage when you see this, though. Oh, why so many black and brown girls go disappearing? You don't see no news coverage. You don't see nothing on the news. You don't see nothing on the news about these 34 black and brown girls out of Washington, D.C. missing in 24 hours, in a total of 24 hours. And the total, yeah, in a total of 24 hours, right? 34 black and brown girls. Why is there no news coverage? Why is no news coverage about this? Why is this not being on every social media platform? Why is the FBI not out finding out what is happening to black and brown children? Tell me, if one white child go missing, the FBI jumps in and it's an Amber Alert, and the whole slew of people start going to lose their goddamn mind and going crazy. Why is it 24 black, Hispanic, and Native Indian children, girls, go missing, and you hear nothing about it? That is sad. You want to know why? Because scripture right here in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 19, it says, "Cursed shalt thou be when thou goest in." Oh, Salaki, when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. It sounds more than just human trafficking. This is more than human trafficking. Understand what the scripture is saying. It says, "Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out." 34. Listen, watch this. Just watch this. Just listen to this. Pay attention to this. I'm going to make it the full screen. Yeah, that's better. No. Let's go to whole screen. Check this out. Just listen to this.
Days, a viral claim has taken over social media, stating that in the past 2-3 days, a viral claim has taken over social media, stating that 34 black and brown girls have gone missing in Washington, D.C. The posts are emotional and urgent, but as of now, there's no confirmation from official sources or major news outlets that such a mass disappearance has happened. A look at the Metropolitan Police Department's official missing persons page shows around 30 open cases in total, and they include individuals of various ages, genders, and backgrounds. There is no verified report showing 34 girls missing all at once. Despite that, the topic is trending across TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, with users calling out the media and government for staying silent. And honestly, they're not wrong to question the silence. No big media channels have covered this, and that in itself raises concerns. Even if the exact number is not confirmed, the attention this has received points to a very real issue. Missing black and brown girls often receive far less media coverage and public urgency compared to others.
And see, I want everybody to understand something, right? I want everybody to understand this key factor, right? When it says black and brown girls, and it says they have little to no coverage compared to others, I want y'all to understand what's the others. The others is Caucasians, East Indians, Arabs, Italians, the so-called Jewish people, the Chinese, the Japanese. These are the other people. The Germans, all these other races, you don't see none of them on the board. Because if they went on the board, like I said, what will happen? It will be FBI included. It will be search parties. It will be somebody, detective somebody, or agent somebody will be losing their mind trying to find a Jewish child. But you hear about black and brown babies missing. You don't get no response. You don't get no TV response. There's no urge. There's no sense of urgency. And this scripture right here, when you read, "Cursed shall thou be cursed shall thou be when thou comest in and thou goes out." Listen, when you get to go in and out these streets, and it don't matter what ghetto, it don't matter what slums, it don't matter what barrio you in, it don't matter what city and state you in, what hood you from. Nah, this happens to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. They don't give a damn. They don't. It should be more than a reason for an eyebrow or somebody wondering what the hell is going on. This is more than just trafficking. It might be traffic for organ donors. It might be trafficking for sexual trafficking, pedophilia. Salakia for the language. This is for teaching purposes. But it might be all type. This trafficking of black and brown children to steal the organs or whatever. This is what it is. They don't care about our people. And when you see about this many girls missing, you got to wonder, why is this happening to... I'm going to give everybody real quick, and then we're going to go back into the rest of the video, and we're going to get back into these scriptures, right? I want everybody to understand something. I remember being a child a long time ago, and I remember my mom sending me to church, right? And she used to send me to church, and I remember I probably had to be about 8 or 9 years old, right? Somewhere between 7 and 9, somewhere around there. And I remember going to church, and I remember questioning the pastor because they said, they gave a depiction of Christ. They was reading from the scriptures, and they was saying hair of wool, skin of bronze, and and reading the scripture. And then I was looking at that picture of Boy George, Caesar Borgia, right on the wall. And I said, well, who the hell is that? I remember me asking, well, who is that? And I was told never to question God, never to question a pastor and stuff like that. Well, how am I supposed to get the answers about serving God if I don't ask questions? I remember me doing that, right? And I remember I got in trouble for it. And then I remember me asking my mom, why do black people go through so much? I never knew about, and this coming from being raised in a Christian home, I never knew about Deuteronomy 28. I never knew in the book of Deuteronomy that we were cursed as a people. I never knew that we were cursed going and coming. I didn't know that we would be cursed in our fields and that we would have that we had yokes of iron. I remember reading a little bit about Black history, but I didn't know the magnitude of what Black history really was. Because guess what was shoved down my throat? White history. Because the people who won the war was the people who said what the future would hold and what the history was told. The lie. And not knowing, I was always wondering, why did Black people suffer so much? And I asked my mother, she didn't have an answer. And now that I'm older and I'm in the school and I see these scriptures and I'm like, because we was hard-headed? That's what all this is about? Because we were hard-headed. I watched my parents get high off crack cocaine because our ancestors was hard-headed. Because this is passed down from generation to generation. And the only way you could be an Israelite is through the blood. First of all, I didn't even know I was a goddamn Israelite. I was just some regular Negro from the ghetto. I didn't know we was a special people, a holy people, a separate people, a people that God called his own. I didn't know that. I thought it was regular to suffer and pain and agony and grow up in the ghettos and have food stamps, living in the projects. I thought that was normal. I thought it was normal to see your uncle nod out off a heroin. I thought that was normal. I thought that was normal until I came into the UPK. I thought it was normal to go to a cookout and see uncles and aunts, and I see people fight because this person is screwing this person's wife. Or the pastor screwing this person's wife. Or some uncle touching on somebody, on some niece or nephew. I thought that was normal. I thought that was normal. until I came into the truth and I started understanding the scriptures. And I'm like, this is about being hard-headed. If you want the Bible broken down in just a few words, the Bible was about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians history. This tells the past, the present, and the future of what happened, what's happening, and what's to come. And this tells you about black people being hard-headed and not following, and then black people being smart and wise and having some type of wisdom and listening and obeying the Most High God. That's what this book about. This book is about our culture, what we're supposed to do. The book of Leviticus that tells you the laws of what we can eat. That's your dietary law. Didn't know that. But now, as I say, when you know better, you do better, you live better. Ooh-wee. But back to this story. Check this out. Check the rest of this story out.
This isn't new, but it's painful to see it repeat again and again. So is the claim about 34 girls missing in one day real? No, it appears to be false or exaggerated. But
and see, what he's missing is it wasn't 34 girls in one day. It was 14 girls gone missing in one day. It was black and brown girls gone missing in one day in Washington, D.C. It was 14 girls. And I think it was over a course of a 3-day course that it was a total of 34 girls. But it was 14 in one day. 14 children. I want y'all to understand, this is not different ethnicities. This is not different races. This is not different ages. This is not different people than male and female. No. 14 young girls went missing in Washington, D.C. in 24 hours. In a 24-hour time span, 14 girls went missing. Over the course of, if I'm not mistaken, from what I'm reading and from the stories that I'm getting, it was a total of 34 children in 3 days, 14 in one day.
the deeper issue, why the media ignores these cases, is real and needs to be addressed. Thanks for watching till the end.
And you know what? That's the real issue. That's the real issue. Why is social media, why is the government, why is this not plastered all over the Fox 5, Channel 11, and all the cable channels? Why is this not broadcasted throughout all media? You know why? Because of these curses. Because of these curses. I want to drop down in Deuteronomy, Salaki, if I may. We're going to, because we limited on time, but let's drop down in Deuteronomy. Right here in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 24, it says, the Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust, and powder and dust from heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. Y'all understand that word destroyed? God, do we understand the word destroyed? That the powder and dust, this is not literal powder and dust coming down, raining down on us, right? But when you kick up dust, that's dirt. When you kick up dirt, that's the on the ground. Blacks, Hispanics, and hey, Shalom, Lord of Christ, Adawan, priest and officer Dunya in the building. I just played the video, Officer Dunya. That's horrific. 34 girls in 3 days went missing out of Washington, D.C. It was 24 in one day. 24 black and brown girls went missing. There's no coverage on this, no news coverage. And I was showing young man Hector in Deuteronomy 28 and 19. It says, cursed shall thou be when thou goest in. No, thou comest in, and cursed shall be when thou goest out. Just like every black or YN young brother that goes out in the street, he got to worry and look over his back because in fear of being unalive. Just every time you get pulled over by the police, you have to be in fear of dying, fear of being unalived, because this is the curses that's being placed upon blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I dropped down to verse 28, Salakia 24, and I was explaining Deuteronomy 28 in verse 24, and it was explained. I was explaining how we are destroyed for as a people. Come on, sir. Also, Daniel said he has a script too. You know, and listen, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we cursed. We are cursed in these streets. We cursed in the highways and byways. That's why when we get pulled over, so it's always you hear about us being unalive. In 2025, I just heard, and this was like within the last 2 to 3 weeks, a black man was found hung in Albany. A black man was found hung in Atlanta, Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. 2 different places, all on the East Coast, where all is supposed to be abolished, slavery, and you're not supposed to be found. And they black men, not white men, not no Jewish man, none of these other people are being found hung. There's no pictures on that wall with all the missing girls. Not one of them are Chinese, Arab, East Indian, Jewish, the so-called Jewish. None of them are any of the Caucasoids or so-called oppressors or the white men that the Bible speaks of. None of them are on that picture, but black and brown girls are. Black and Hispanic babies are missing. We're going to jump over to Isaiah, Salakia. One moment. We're going to jump into the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 9. It's the book of Isaiah. One moment. This is the Salakia. Got a lag on my phone. One moment, and this gonna be the last scripture. Due to time, I wish we can party longer. One day the kingdom shall be every day, all day. Lord, allow it. One day the kingdom shall be every day, all day. Lord, allow it sooner than later. And what this scripture says, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 9. Are ye beasts, Slack all ye beasts of the field, come to devour ye, and all ye beasts in the forest. Let me tell y'all why also Daniel is a priest and a prophet of the Lord, right? Because this scripture he brought out, let me tell you something. While ICE is kicking in doors and running down on the Hispanic community, and black and brown girls are going missing, the cops are unaliving black men and pulling them over for being on their own goddamn line, their own land, and arresting them, and you getting unalive by the thousands. While we're getting still unalive, and you still finding black men being hung in trees, and they said they committed suicide and all that lie, because the heathens are the beasts. The oppressor is the beast of the field, and they come to devour blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And we have to wake up, and the only way we can get up out of this is by serving the Most High God of Israel. If you are part of the 12 tribes of Israel, get in class. Get in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge that came out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street, under command of General YAHNNA. And since 1969, we've been delivering the truth that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the chosen people of the Bible. We are the children of Israel. And we are not affiliated with no other group, no other Muslim, no Muslim mosque, no church, no nothing, no church community. We ain't affiliated with nobody. Right? With that, shalom, Israel.